Floyd's Mayhem Garage today. Well, got some not so fun stuff happening today, I suppose. Kind of fun, depends on how you look at that. But got this bad boy to install. I wish I was putting this on one of the hot rods, but I'm not. This is going on the crew cab. The turbo in it started leaking oil, so at this point I've caught it early enough. Started leaking oil at this point about a week and a half ago. So got a turbo ordered up, and at this point it's still drivable. It is just starting to leak. So started smelling burning oil when I was driving it, and started leaking out of the between the turbo and the exhaust manifold flange there. So yeah, that'll be fun. Got this one ordered up through NAPA. I think everything about it's the same, except I think the cold side here, this is flanged, so I think this is meant for a intercooled motor. It looks like the angle of this flange looks like it's clocked properly for the non-intercooled, but it looks like the housing's different. But everything else is the same, or appears to be the same at least, so I should be able to change my housing on this side with the old one as long as everything's good. Otherwise, I might still, depending on if I have any issues with that, I can probably still use this one. I'm just going to have to grind the flange down. And it does have a good little lip there to put hose over. As long as size, I am going to have to measure it, make sure that works if I go that route. But I think we'll get it taken care of. So, yeah, get the General Mayhem out of here. Race car's fine to be where it's at. Daytona, of course, still in the corner. Yeah, go start the crew cab, get it pulled in. Hopefully don't let it run for too long. Keep everything kind of cool. I'm gonna see if I have a hard time with getting the bolts off of the manifold side. It's studs into the exhaust manifold with nuts holding the turbo on. So hopefully I can get those off without issue. We'll see. Otherwise, it's gonna turn a couple hour job into a couple week job. A couple days, couple weeks, whatever. Let's get after it. And probably put a choke cable on this thing sometime. I would definitely aid in these cold start situations, but it's on the list. You know, a million things are on the list, but when it runs and drives, it ends up not being very high on the list. I do love this car. This thing's so cool. Oh, such a ridiculous car to drive around. Looking over that hood scoop, yellow hood scoop, blue hood, red fenders, so ridiculous looking. I love it so much. And the crew cab. All right, so I'm not going to let this warm up for very long. Actually, not at all. To move it, I'm going to fire it up. Let it, basically idle it into the shop so I can turn it off. I don't want this motor to be too hot. So, grid heater there. Oh, yeah. Gotta love a 12 valve. Gotta love this one at least. So, from my estimates, or from what I've been told, I guess maybe, this truck, or this motor at least, the truck I haven't decided how many miles are on this thing, but the motor had over 400,000 on it in the 89 that I bought. That was the single cab long bed 4-wheel drive. And I've put a decent amount of miles on it. Speedometer never has worked on this truck. It did work in the other truck, and I honestly really don't remember how many miles I put on it then. But, that being said, you know, we're approaching basically 500,000 miles on this motor. It does have a bit of blow-by, so it is definitely showing its age. Turbo, obviously, is gone out, or is going out. Yeah, it's been a good truck so far. Been a good motor at least. The truck will definitely continue to be a good truck. This will probably not be the last motor that this thing ever has. So, but whether I ever blow this one up or hold up and all right, need 2 hands for this one. Gotta hit the hood. Man, whether I ever blow this one up or it just finally has so much blow by, stopped running, whatever. We'll cross that road when we get there. But as of now, it's been a good truck and a good motor. So yeah, I was talking about the flange on the turbo. We got this guy, which normally if I'm correct in this, which I think I am, these are what they used when they went to the intercooled trucks. And the turbo housings themselves were basically 180 from where it's at now and pointed down, and that's where it went into the intercooler piping and across. But this one's a non-intercooled engine, so it's just a smooth flange here going into the crossover pipe or whatever you want to call it. So but any flange, I imagine there's got to be a sealing flange of some sort in there. So looking at it though, it is still a whole set housing, same as this guy. So I imagine it shouldn't be a problem because all the internals and guts and everything look the same. I'll probably end up, like I said, using this housing. I don't think there's going to be problems there. If there is, we'll as well cross that road when we get there. But yeah, let's start tearing this apart, I guess. I suppose too, before I get too far here, my shaft here, I don't know if you can see this, there is a little bit of play in it, back and forth, and it's had that for quite a while. But most recently, you can see it on the top crack there, and then across the bottom, I don't know if you can see it, there is this flange here. It's leaking across the bottom side, and then there's a bracket down there where the old transcooler was for the automatic. It's leaking oil onto that bracket. So my best guess is it's leaking from basically the because it's oil cooled and oil lubricated, I guess. It's leaking through into the hot side. So, and then getting in, and I imagine just pooling up. Of course, you know, the exhaust is just black, as any, you know, turbo is going to be. So I haven't noticed, and of course I haven't really noticed any excess smoke or anything like that, but I'm sure it's there. I just can't see it being the diesel. But yeah, so we're leaking from that flange. But yeah, these are going to be the guys that are going to be the troublesome. So hopefully I don't have too many problems there. And otherwise I'll have to get my turbo lines, or the oil lines off, get the exhaust, and figure out what's underneath here. So I have actually yet to have one of these off, of one of these intercooler motor, or non-intercooled motors at least. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Well, no freaking way. All 4 nuts just broke right loose with little to no trouble. That is insane. Now the only question, I guess, at this point, I thought that'd be the hard part, even getting them broke loose, is now as long as I can get them all the way out without the studs coming out, or, you know, seizing up on the way down and causing issues. But wow, that was sort of unbelievable. They just broke loose. I guess hopefully they just come right out. Alright, side by side, the cold sides are completely different. We got a much bigger intake on this side, and then our smaller intake on this side. You can see the internal here, it looks the same as this one, but they've added this outside. And then, yeah, the flange type, where this just used a silicone pipe or silicone hose. And then, yeah, looks like I'm gonna have to clock, so I'm gonna have to change the housings. As long as those made up, which they look like they will. The oil passages, or what do you want to call those, are clocked differently, so I'll have to loosen those up and clock those as well. Not surprising with aftermarket parts. Very rarely is anything a direct bolt-on, but so it looks like I can get everything to work though. And interestingly enough, one of my theories on this was the turbo's leaking oil. You know, like I said, I got quite a bit of in-shaft play, so I'm not surprised that I had oil leaking. It's been that way the whole time I've owned it. But hopefully this does fix my problem, because the other place oil can be coming from is inside the motor and coming through the exhaust into the intake and everything. But if you look, it's a orange silicone hose in there, and it's pretty oily on that edge there. So, and pressure side here, it's got quite a bit of oil in it. Grab a flashlight here. Got quite a bit of oil, pretty oil soaked in there. Exhaust doesn't really have any, except it is sooty, and it is going to be burning it off of that side. So, yeah, get this changed out, and hopefully that problem goes away. So I'm going to have to run to the parts store. Exhaust band flange, whatever the hell these things are called. V-band clamp, there we go. The bolt was seized up, so I had to cut it, so I'll have to go get another one of those. I don't think I have one of those laying around. And yeah, should be pretty straightforward. And to add, I am still in awe. Unbelievable how easy those came off. I was expecting to fight that, and I sprayed some Croil penetrant on it, and once I got them actually loose, I actually ended up, two of them I unthreaded by hand the rest of the way. The other two were just a wrench. They were a little too tight for hand, but they just came right off. That was incredible. Yeah, pull that guy off. Boy, does that look pretty in there. This one a little love tap. Yeah, this is probably a good opportunity as well. I think I'm going to clean this up. I like that clean aluminum look. Looks like I should be able to clean it pretty damn good. Yeah. Give this guy a shot. Well, that's a problem. So, compressor wheel fins, I guess you want to call them. We're just either right at a 2 inches or just under 2 inches. These ones are about 1/8 inch over 2 inches. So the housing doesn't fit. So switching housings is not going to work. Housing looks great. Sandblasted it, cleaned it up. All right, well, now I gotta figure out what to do. All right, out back in my stockpile here. Well, I didn't really want to do this. I was hoping to leave this engine alone and complete, but that might not be happening. Let's see. Yep. Well, that might be staying anyways. That's the same turbo that I got. So that's not gonna work either. Well, at this point, I don't know. Yeah, I gotta make a trip to Napa. We gotta go see what we can find. This turbo isn't gonna work. It worked for this application, because as you can see, so this is an intercooled engine, as you can even read. This has the flange on it, and this has the bigger intake as well. So that's the housing that I have on the new turbo. This was ordered for a non-intercooled engine, and not even under the description and everything, that's what it says it fits. So I gotta go see if they sent us maybe the wrong turbo, or if the application guide is just wrong, which unfortunately run into that quite often, where the application is just wrong and the information in the computer isn't accurate. I'm guessing that's what we have here is going on. But we'll see. I'll back this turbo up and see what we can do about it. A few days later here. Actually, we might be a couple weeks. Look at that! New turbo! So, finally got the correct one and got it thrown on there. You know, same exact process as the wrong one that I was about to install, but it was actually, this one went on super easy since I had already had it all apart. I didn't have any, you know, corrosion on any of the nuts and bolts or anything, and I just pulled it off and put this one on. Only thing I had to do was loosen up the band clamp and reclock it. It was off just a little bit, but that wasn't a big deal. And put it on, and she's been working good. So looks like the seal on the old one, it was on the compressor side, and because of that, it looked like there was some oil in the intake and through into the grid heater side. So when I first fired it up, it did seem to smoke for just a little bit, and then it seemed to have gone away. So I'm sure it worked whatever oil was in there. I was hoping I didn't have to take it apart, and it doesn't look like I have to. So yeah, pretty simple, straightforward. Caught it early enough to where it didn't cause any problems, so that was good. Yeah, figured you didn't need to see putting this one on, and not to mention I may have kind of forgotten to film it. But yeah, new turbo, so the crew cab is back in business. Yeah, that's exciting. So suppose that finishes up this video, the turbo install, and time to move on to other things. So I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy, y'all.